Hi, this is Dennis, and we're going to start by getting into Eclipse our very first time. So hopefully you've got an Eclipse installed on your computer. Here's the icon. And here we are inside of Eclipse for the first time. So the first thing that you want to do is create a Java project. I'm going to name this project call it my first project and hit finish. So now I'm in to my first project. It has an SRC folder and all of my classes are going to exist here in this SRC folder. The other thing that I could do if I choose to is create a package. And my first project is a pretty good name for the package, the same as my project. Okay, so now I'm ready to create my very first class. So here I go, new class. And you'll see throughout the semester the class that's going to hold my name, I'm going to name it test class. You can name this anything you want. Now, class names should always start with a capital letter. So here I am inside of my first class, test class. Here's my test class. It begins here and ends here, and it's a part of this project. Now, we're going to see here in a minute when I do this the second time, I do not need to create a project. And for most things in this class, we probably won't. If that's the case, then this test class is going to exist in something called the default project. I'm sorry, package, I said project, the default package. So if I don't create a package, all my classes are going to exist inside the default package. Okay, so the first time I'm going to create a main, and I believe my access modifier is public, static, void. Now we're going to talk about this keyword static throughout the semester. Void is the same void from C, meaning this function does not return a value. Main is the name of the beginning function, always. So in Java, we are going to have an argument.
Notice that the variables start with lowercase letters,
and this variable
and
called args
are correctly spelled English words. We're going to talk about the convention for naming variables in the next slides. Okay, so the syntax rules for declaring Java variables. You cannot put any spaces in a variable name, and you cannot start with a digit. So this my space variable wouldn't compile, and 7 days would not compile. Don't use reserved words for variable names. You can't have a variable called if, for example. And what characters can you use in your variable names? You can use all of the letters A through Z. You can use all of the digits 0 through 9, and you can use only 2 special characters, the underscore and the $sign. So these variables are syntactically correct. That means that these variables will compile. No, there's one mistake. You cannot use a %sign in a variable. That's a mistake. You cannot compile a variable name with any special characters other than $sign and underscore. So let's go back and declare some variables that are syntactically correct, but wouldn't be very good choices for variable names. So we have 2 concepts here. We have the concept of syntactically correct and conventionally correct. So this one with several underscores and then $5, $6 is not a conventionally correct variable name, but it will compile. Okay, the naming conventions for variables. You're going to start with a lowercase letter, always, and use mixed case for readability. So start with a lowercase letter, and each subsequent word will be capitalized. This is called camel case. When you do that, I guess it's because camels have humps, and you have humps in the middle of your variable names. When you're choosing the names for your variables, use correctly spelled English words. So here's a conventionally poor variable name, WSO321.
So here I am in my second project.
Because it doesn't describe what the variable is being used for.
Straight into my time. If I was doing some big
convention
work, I might
is not style. You can't decide what your convention is. Convention is dictated as part of the language. This is one of Gosling's ideas that everyone writing Java code will do it in a conventionally consistent way. Okay, let's start looking at assignment and arithmetic operator. So the assignment operator, which looks like an equal sign, we're going to pronounce this as gets. It's not an equality relationship, and we have another operator in the language that represents equals. So this assignment operator, we're going to say gets so that we don't get them confused. So if we have something called count samples, we're going to read this count samples gets 23. And if everyone does this the way they're supposed to, it means that the code will be easier to read when you're looking at someone else's work. Okay, the arithmetic operators in Java are plus, minus, multiply, divide, and modulus.
And we're going to do a system
and the first four should be very comfortable for you. You know how to add things and subtract them, multiply and divide. These are the symbols that we'll use in Java. Modulus we'll discuss separately because it may be new to you. So here's a little piece of Java code that says A gets 10 and B gets 6.
So this
and here's another int variable called result. If we write result gets A plus B, the value that's in A, which is 10, is added to the value in B, which is 6, and then the assignment happens. And the variable result now has the value 16. Operators have a precedence, the same as in algebra. Plus and minus have lower precedence than the so-called multiplicative operators, multiply, divide, and modulus. So in this Java statement, we have A plus B multiplied by 3. The B times 3 happens first, so we would have 6 times 3 is 18, plus A happens second, and that would be 28, goes into the result. You can also use parentheses to change the order of operation in your arithmetic statements. So in this case, if we wanted the addition to happen first, we could say A plus B, which is 16 times 3, and whatever that is, goes into the variable result. Okay, now let's look specifically at the modulus operator. Sometimes people call this modulo or just mod, and we think of this as the remainder operator. So if we have 10 modulus 3 or 10 mod 3, think of this as how many 3's can be taken out of 10 and what's the remainder. So this expression evaluates to 1. There are 3 3's in 10 with 1 left over. So 11 modulus 4, take out 2 4's from 11 and you have 3 left over. 11 mod 4 is 3. 1000 mod 10 is 0. There's a 0 remainder. And there are 2 special cases where you might get it wrong. The first case is where